This is a very valuable document. Look, this nation has gotten out of hand with crime, with the bad negative things that are going on. Why is it so preposterous that we would want our students to have the option to have some good principles instilled in them? If they
But
don't hear it at home, let them
I,
read it in the classroom. It's no
I
different
didn't.
than the Mayflower Compact, which is mentioned in the document as well. I don't understand why this is so preposterous and that litigation is being threatened. It doesn't scare us in the state of Louisiana. We say bring it on.
I really believe that this episode is about to piss a few Christians off. Welcome back to Mike Rock Uncensored. If you're enjoying the content, please do me a huge favor. Hit the like, subscribe, and follow button so that you can receive all the latest updates as soon as I make them available to you. I told you guys, man, in everything that I do my best not to have a double standard. The reason why I have such a huge problem with liberals, or at least the extremists and Democrats, is because they have a huge double standard for what they want us to believe as opposed to what they're actually doing. We see the grooming and the recruitment going on in the schools, and we don't agree with it. We want it to be removed. But then we're going to turn around, or at least the state of Louisiana is going to turn around and decide, hey, well, we're going to post the 10 Commandments, and we know it's going to piss a couple of people off, but we don't care. And to me, like I said, that is one, it's the double standard. So before anybody asks, yes, I consider myself a spiritual person. Yes, I believe in God. But I also believe that what's good for one person is good for the other. That, again, at the end of the day, facts are facts. Do the math. And if it adds up correctly, then those are the principles that we are supposed to be living by as a country. The only reason why, let's look at the commandments themselves. I am the Lord your God. You shall not have strange gods before me. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Remember to keep holy the Lord's day. Honor your father and your mother. You shall not kill. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, and you shall not covet your neighbor's goods. Now, we don't even start getting into the moral aspect, the moral principles involved with the 10 Commandments until, I would say, Commandment 4. Honor your father and your mother. So everything before that is you are basically establishing God as the base for what is going on either in your life or if you're posting it up in schools for this school. And that's where I have to come out and say that they're wrong. At least I believe, my opinion, I believe that they're wrong. The reason why I believe it's wrong is because there is a separation of church and state. If we're going to get on track of not discriminating against anyone for any reason, we can't have that double standard. When I listened to this video, what's her name? Lauren Vestrella, I believe her name is. She's one of the co-authors of this bill. And I'm not going to lie, when people go to an extreme, they have this crazy look in their eyes. And when I hear her speak out against the naysayers, the people who don't agree with what's going on and who are even willing to sue the state of Louisiana to get this requirement removed, she just has that same crazy look in her eye that I see in a lot of extreme liberals and Democrats. We need to come together. The only thing that I'm glad about with this whole 10 Commandments thing is that I think it's going to start opening up a very different discussion. Every time the liberals want to argue for why something should be included, why they should be able to groom our kids, why they should be able to strut in the middle of the streets buck naked. Every time they do that and you bring up other communities or other protected classes and the struggles that they go through, and we try to make this about discrimination as a whole, then they want to try to tell you that, oh, it's apples and oranges. It's not the same thing. But it is. It really comes down to what we believe, and we should not be forcing what we believe down other people's throats. You can talk to them on the side. There's times and places to share your faith or to share your sexual identity. And the school is not one of them. If we want to create after-school clubs and we say, hey, this is about this, if you want to be a part of that, we need parental consent in order for that to happen, I'm all for it. I'm all for it because at least there is a choice for both sides. We need to be having those discussions and not necessarily saying, well, since you, and I really think that this is what's going on with this whole 10 Commandments thing. I really believe they did this as sort of a revenge strategy. Like if you're going to be putting all of this, quote unquote, gay material in the schools and you're going to be teaching about this, well, we want to bring back the Moral Institute. We want to teach about integrity. And I get that. And I actually agree. We should be able to do that. I just don't think we need to be creating chaos in this country by doing it with religion. From what I've seen with the different religions, there is a lot of commonalities in there that we can all agree with. But the things that we don't agree with, that's the reason why we have the separation of church and state. And again, I know some Christians will get upset with what I'm saying, with me not agreeing with the 10 Commandments being allowed in the schools. But at the same time, I am also saying that since we have this problem with people grooming and recruiting kids in our school, I think this is a good time for us to start a real conversation about redesigning or recreating the entire education system, where our first priority, in fact, our first and only priority, should be on a STEM-based education for our kids in school. Kids are raised a certain way. And if we find out that they're being abused, then we deal with that. But if they're not being abused, we don't have the right to step into the way a parent is raising their child and saying, you're going to raise them our way. That conversation needs to be had. I don't agree with them forcing the 10 Commandments to be hung on the wall inside of the school, just like I don't agree with the being gay material and transgender material and gender affirming care material being displayed and provided to kids in our school as well. I think all of it should be gone. STEM-based education only. We do away with all of these problems that we as adults are having. And and I'm going to close with this. That's one of my biggest problems. We can't even agree as adults on what should be what and why I don't agree with the way you're doing this. We have our own set of arguments to debate. Why are we forcing issues that we haven't resolved down our kids' throats? We should not be doing that. I really believe that this whole left and right philosophy and ideology on life have gotten out of hand. I do believe that the left is gotten very ridiculous with a lot of the things that they believe in. It's not based on science. It's not based on common sense. It's not even based on the math. And I do believe that there's a lot of people on the left that would agree with that. There are just things that we should be able to agree and disagree on. But there's also some things like this where I think the Republicans are starting to take things a little too far. This country was built on that separation of church and state, then we should respect that. But if you did this in order to spark up this other conversation that needs to exist, if you don't like this, then we need to talk about this over here, because you don't want it to be the same thing, but it actually is exactly the same thing. Stop messing with our kids. Give us the freedom as parents to teach them how we were raised, or to know what the difference between right and wrong, and do our jobs as parents to make sure that they receive that. And it's not even your job. Before you say it, it's not even your job to tell me that, well, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to step in and do it for you. That's not your right either. Anyways, I'm Mike Rock. Again, if you guys enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, and follow to the channel. You can also check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Mike Rock. You can support the channel. I provide exclusive content to you guys directly from that page. I also have a shop with services and stuff that I list that I do on the side that helps me to support my efforts to do this full time, hopefully someday. Other than that, you guys have a great night, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.